right, so Dig the Falls live here, August 31st. Just so everyone knows, I'm Ed Smathers, founder of Dig the Falls. We're going to try to get a couple of teammates on tonight if we can, but if we can't, I'll probably cut this short a little bit. Dig the Falls, everything waterfalls. We also do a lot of volunteer work, so we're cleaning up trails, we're cleaning up parking lots sometimes ahead of these trails. We're creating trails, working with the Narrows Cascade and Heritage Trail out of Troy, New York, along with Mount Ida Preservation Association and the Rensselaer Land Trust and the City of Troy. So it's a great project. I would suggest getting out there. It's near Burton Pond. There's about a dozen waterfalls that the project is going to be passing. So all of the trails and things that we're building, there's about a dozen waterfalls. It's really great land in general that those waterfalls are on. You'd never know it was right in the middle of the city. It's pretty incredible. So I figured I wanted to talk a little bit about the website this week. I wanted to talk a little bit about the Steps app. I know we haven't been on in a couple of weeks, and I apologize for that. Missed the last week. Things just got hectic. But as maybe some of you know already, we've been having some website troubles probably for the last couple months. Been doing my best to fix those problems in the back end. Having some database issues, having some plugin issues, and some just general hosting issues as well. So I've gone ahead and I'm started the process of switching the host. I've got the test site up already. It's dramatically faster than the old site, but with that speed comes a lot of changes to that website. So before I can post the test site as a public site, I need to talk to the Dig the Falls team and get their buy-in as far as like the changes that we're going to be making. Whenever it comes to really big changes within Dig the Falls, I always try to have a conversation with every single one of the team members and make sure they're 100% on board. If they're not, or if they have other ideas, we all talk about them real time if possible, just so that we all can be a part of the decision making process and make sure that we have the widest range of ideas possible. So with that being said, the look of the site is going to change a little bit. We changed the template recently, and it looks really, really nice. It's not loading for most people. Even me as an admin to the website, I can't even log to the back end sometimes, just because it's not functioning properly. So we're going to get the website up and running very, very soon. We're just looking for one or two of our members to give their buy-in, and if not, then we'll change the plan a little bit. What you're going to be looking for in the next several months is some functionality upgrades to the website. We're hoping to be able to put a campground locator and a couple other different things. We're dropping the store. There's no longer going to be a storefront built into the website itself. I have a separate store solution that's going to be created, or it's in the process of being created. And one thing I'd like to mention about that is we're looking for a creator that would work with us to create some designs, create some different types of logos and word art and things like that, because we'd really love to be able to give the community something that they're really looking for. So we're going to have t-shirts, sweatshirts, some other swag. But basically what's going to happen is a good portion of that funding from the store, from the t-shirt and sweatshirt sales and stuff, are going to go directly toward the trail building efforts, the tools that we need, the refreshments for volunteers. It'd be nice to actually be able to get some water on site, but all that stuff gets pretty expensive after a little while, and it'd be nice to be able to get extra, because I've been using my own personal tools for most of the projects for a couple of years now. So had to replace a couple because they're broken on the trails or whatever. So that's what the store is going to do, is hopefully help alleviate a little bit of that financial burden off myself and some of the other volunteers. So on the map side, I think that you guys remember me mentioning and posting about Steps Map Your World app. The team behind the app itself has been, we've been working with them directly ever since we migrated over to the app and started placing some locations on it. We've got about 160 members in the community so far. And we're getting some people that are actually generating new locations, which is awesome. People jumping on, and it looks like we have Bobby jumping on in a couple minutes. I'm setting up her video right now. So we've got that app. It's got about 100 steps. They call them steps. Their locations on the actual map itself. And basically what it does is if it's a location on Google, it'll pull in photos from Google. And then give me a thumbs up, Bobby, when you're ready. So it'll pull in the photos from Google. And let's see here, I'm going to add Bobby real quick here. There we go. Hey, Bobby.
Hey, sorry, I'm late.
Hey, no, I was actually late as well. So I was about to 10 minutes late. So you're doing well. Since you're here, do you want to give a quick hello and describe what you do and who you are?
My name is Bobby with Bobby's Waterfalls, and I do work for Mr. Ed in the background.
Yes, a lot of work. Yes, yeah. So, how long have you been doing this with Bobby's Waterfalls?
Oh goodness, late 1980s.
Wow, that's incredible. Every time I hear that, it kind of blows me away that you have been doing this for that long. It's awesome.
Yeah, well, I'm running out of steam there, bud.
So I believe we started working together. We started emailing back and forth in the early 2010s, like maybe close to 2010, even maybe, right?
I think that's as far back as we found emails on.
Yeah. Because I keep all my emails. I probably still have those emails.
Yeah, I know. I just stopped looking.
Yeah. So I was actually just talking about the Steps app and what it is, what it does, and kind of how we're going to be using it. Did you want to kind of give your thoughts or any information on that?
I only just started playing with the Steps app on the actual desktop computer.
Okay.
I have not been out on any trails to utilize the app on the phone. Yeah,
and it's an app that's relatively new. The team is phenomenal. I love the team. Love talking with them. But they're continually adding different features to the app. So eventually, what's going to happen is, I don't think I'm allowed to say too much as far as like the features that they're going to be adding, but the app is going to progress to a point where we're going to be able to highly customize the user interface and how the users view the map itself, which is going to be fun. But basically, what happens is you'll be out on the in your car, and you want to take you want to visit one of the closest locations to where you are. So instead of typing into Google Maps, state parks or whatever, you can actually just go to the app, and since it's the Dig the Falls app map on the app, you're going to find waterfall locations. So what we've been doing is preloading the map with steps that coincide with state parks, preserves, natural areas that coincide with actual waterfalls that we've recorded. So right now you are not getting the exact location of the waterfall yet. That's coming. What you'll be getting is the park, like say Akron Falls Town Park, you'll get either the parking area or the trailhead to that, and then from there you can find the waterfall that's located within that area at that park or preserve or whatever. So it's actually kind of a, I don't know if you like the design of the app, or do you have the app downloaded yet, Bobby?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I actually do.
What do you think about the overall design of the app? So it looks, let's see if I can get that. It's a little foot.
Looks like feet.
Yeah, little feet, and you open it up, a little nice
Correct.
open up, and then it'll load the maps for you, and you get like a bunch of maps down here, and then the ones up here are the ones that you're parts of. So I'll click on Dig the Falls, and then it's going to say, okay, here are the locations. Actually, you can't even barely see that because it's so bright. But it'll tell you the locations that are closest to you. Let's see if you can do that. Yeah, there you go. So
yes,
really kind of neat. And then say you click on a location, it's going to bring you there. It's going to bring up some of the photos for the spot and some of the other closer locations to that spot. And then you click on it, and it gives you all the information right here. So we're we're pretty excited, or I am. I think everyone else is still getting used to the app, but pretty excited about the app itself. So I don't know, Bobby. I mean, you're kind of in the background learning the map manager portion of it. So from that perspective, what can you kind of add to kind of entice people to kind of jump on and join the community?
well, I do see, like the locations I've been kind of putting on there, I've been trying to gather some of my information to at least get it in the comments.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be the easiness of the trail, which there is a little ditty on there that says easy, hard, moderate, whatever.
Yeah.
But like the distance, I didn't, that's got to go in the comments.
Yeah. That we can add that too. I mean, if users say, want distance, I know I put on there pets allowed, I believe. But those are all tags that we can actually create for the user experience as well. So if you feel like distance would be something that we should try to get on there, I'd say let's do it.
Well, I kind of do feel that distance matters, mm-hmm. Especially say that you go visit a location, you got your little toddlers there.
Yeah.
And you're thinking it's a 2-mile hike and it turns out to be a 4-mile hike, and then you still got to get back to the road.
Yep. Yeah,
even though it might be a very easy hike, and that's the word you're looking at, easy.
Easy, yeah, right.
Well, easy long.
Absolutely. And it's funny you bring it up like that, because I think the last time I was on with Stosh, he said the exact same thing, that he goes to some of these apps and they'll say, yeah, it's 2 miles. It winds up being like 4.5 miles round trip, and it said it was 2 miles round trip. And then you're talking easy to one person is moderate or difficult for someone else.
Correct.
So yeah, so it's a very relative scaling system, if that makes sense. So yeah, I think that's something that would be nice to actually add. And next time I jump into the apps manager portion, I can definitely throw that in there for sure.
Well, I just think that's a very important piece of information.
Yeah, and then you don't have to scroll down through. I believe there are options to pin certain messages, but I think it'd be better just to have it in the actual tags themselves.
Now, the other thing that crossed my mind as I was doing it, a couple of locations. Mm-hmm. There's nothing to indicate unless somebody writes it in a comment. Trails are clearly marked, or the trails are unmarked.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that makes a good. You bring up a good point, because I think I'm kind of spoiled in the area that I'm at right now, because I'm in I'm in Saratoga County, which is considered a fairly affluent county. So, they've got, proper trail crews, volunteer crews that come down through, and they've got maps. Like most of the spots that you go on some of these trails, they actually have a proper map with a star where you're at on the map. So, but then I've been to other places throughout the state that, like, you're lucky to know that you're actually on the trail in the first place.
Well, I was trying to think in my head which one of the ladies was talking about the trail that I actually went to. She said she kind of was driving around in there and was worried about getting her vehicle stuck.
Yeah.
And we had this very old fisherman sign to follow.
Yes.
And then all that walking to get in. But it, even though it was a beaten path, it was not clearly marked.
No, you could see that. I know which one you're talking about, and the path
it's like up here.
Yeah, I know. It's like, Kilbourne comes to mind, but I know it's not Kilbourne. It's but it's North Country, and but yeah, basically the path was nice. It was like 2 or 3 people wide, from what I remember a long time ago. But yeah, it wasn't. There was.
It's kind of dwindled down to almost like a deer path.
Oh, okay. Well, it's been
but it's still well worn. When I was there, 5 years ago.
Okay. Yeah. Nice.
But still, it was really hard to find the overgrown parking spot.
Yeah, it was. It kind of pops up out of nowhere. And the road to get to it was ridiculous too.
So anyways, those are little tidbits that folks, even though it's easy once you get in there, and it's very clearly traveled.
Yeah.
The point is if somebody gets turned around in there.
Yeah. And, kind of, I would say like even like, say Russell Brook is another example of not really the trail, but the road conditions. Because like Russell Brook was like a 1-lane seasonal highway.
It was scary.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, so you travel down in there at the wrong time of year and you're not getting back out of there without any help anyway. So, road conditions or, travel conditions, those types of things might be nice to kind of note as well. So, okay. Yeah, so I was mentioning early on, before you got on too, I was mentioning all the issues that we're having with the website and not being able to, us not even being able to log into the back end of the website. And I know you got some choice words to.
I'm biting my tongue. Well, trying to, anyways.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been pretty bad, and we've lost a lot of time, and but we'll get it back. And I was saying that I can't mention too much about the changes that we're making because we're waiting for feedback from a couple of people from the team. But I think you might be able to kind of give the yay or nay about us making big choices, and then the big choices actually go to the team. They don't normally just get those choices aren't made just by me and then we move on. Normally I bring them to the team, and then the team.
No, I agree with that. We do anything that's going to be big. We always get the whole entire team input on it.
Yeah.
Small little tiny unnoticeable things, we don't go to everybody.
Yeah, because everyone's got their thing. I mean, we all work our full-time jobs. We all have full-time gigs. Robert says hello.
I don't see any comments. Oops.
He says there's this wonderful mother. So.
Hey, Robert.
And so we we all have our full-time things that are going on. So I try not to bog you guys down with the little stuff, and really just bring the big stuff. And that's really
I have to pop out a second.
Oh yeah, not a problem. So but the site being down has really affected more than just myself. It's affected the team and the team's ability to help me update the website and help you guys get to the locations that you want to get to. So anytime that you're in a position where you want to go somewhere, you want to find something new, feel free to reach out to us. If I don't have the answer, I always forward it to the team for their feedback. But if you email info@digthefalls.com, that comes to me directly. And then if I don't have the answer direct, I always send basically copy and paste the message to the team, and the team gives me feedback on that kind of stuff. So, but so yeah, I was so anyway. So back to talking about the team and their contribution and everything. We try to get as much of the team's buy-in as possible when it comes to the big choices. But yeah, everyone's busy. Everyone's got their own thing going on. Even Stosh, I mean, he's got things every day of the week. He's got something going on. John's got, I mean, he's working 50, 60, 70 hours most times. Julie's got a daughter that's in softball. Carl, he's full time. It's just crazy. It's, we've got a great team, but we do what we can. So, and then Bobby, you've got your own website that you try to keep up with as well, right?
Yeah, but I kind of haven't done a whole lot on it. Haven't made too many changes on it because I know it reflects with. I'd like to work on both at the same time if I'm going to make changes at mine. I mean, I'm doing a dual process here.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, to be fair, you haven't been traveling as much as you used to a couple of years ago, too, right?
No, but I've had a lot of family stuff going on.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like once I had the kids, it was the same thing with me. Like almost all travel stopped for us, and we used to go out almost every single weekend to try to find something new to go see. And once you have a family, once your family starts growing, no matter what's going on, it's more difficult to get out on the trail, unfortunately.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And trying to plan a vacation gets harder sometimes.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, a lot more to think about for sure. One good thing the last several months, or a couple months at least, the kids have grown up enough that I can actually get them all out on the trail on my own, which the thought of just taking care of them on my own in the house used to cause me anxiety. But now, I can get them into the van, they buckle themselves into their seats, it's incredible, the change just that's made. So no more diapers to change, which is amazing.
There you go. Now you're going to just have to put a bungee cord on each one and tie them to each other going down the trail.
Oh man, I tell you what, it's we were on the trail today for a short time because the bugs were horrendous today for some reason. But it's amazing because I can at any given time I've got one that's 100 feet up the trail, I've got one that's 100 feet down the trail, and I've got one that's walking off trail, and it keeps it really, really interesting. But at the same time, I have to admit, for 4 and 6 year old kids, they do pretty well. They listen really well on the trail, so I can't really complain too much.
I've always kept the rule of thumb with my children. When they wanted to either venture ahead or slag behind, my rule of thumb was you have to see me at all times.
Yep.
If you can't see me up ahead, then you need to stop and wait for me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's basically exactly what I tell them is, we all need to see each other. So the furthest ahead needs to see the furthest behind.
Yep.
And I always repeat the rules right before we get on the trail. Okay, what's rule number 1, 2, and 3? And it's these cats are loud tonight. So it's nice, and it just teaches them. Found that waterproofing spray for boots. So Robert says he found the waterproofing spray for boots. Huh. Okay. Camp Dry. I'll have to check that out. Actually, that sounds pretty cool. Camp Dry for waterproofing. Okay.
Very
Haven't
good.
heard of that. Nice. But yeah, it's been nice to get them out on the trail. So the other day, I know a couple years back in your yard, you had kind of an explosion of those oil beetles, right?
Oh God, yes.
Yeah. So I was able to see some on the trail yesterday. And normally, when I'm on the trails, I'm talking to the kids about, edible plants, edible mushrooms, frogs, bugs, literally everything. And that's one of the first times that I believe I've told them not to touch something. Like everything else, I let them literally touch everything that they find. But I think you probably know a little bit more about them than I do. But basically, if you touch them, you can get burns on your skin, right?
Yeah, and you can't let the animals eat them either. It'll make them extremely sick.
Oh, see, I didn't, because I read up on them a little bit.
You've got to keep your dogs away from them.
Gotcha. Yeah. Luckily, I haven't had any in the yard itself. We were on the trail. And for anybody watching that hasn't heard of an oil beetle or oil bug, basically it looks like a big ant, but its butt, or its behind, the last portion, is gigantic. Like it's 6 or 7 times the size of the actual body itself.
Correct.
Yeah, and there's a couple of different ones. Some of them are kind of bluish; they shimmer blue, and the other ones are kind of like a matte black color that I saw. And we had the shiny ones that we found in the forest. So, but I guess what happens is you pick them up.
I didn't think they looked like an ant, though.
Oh, you don't think they look like an ant? Yeah.
No, they look like more like just a beetle.
Yeah.
I didn't think they looked more like an ant.
Well, maybe it's because of the size and proportion of their body that kind of remind me of an ant.
Did you hear them eating?
No, they stopped eating when we got close to them and just kind of stood still.
Because you can hear them eating.
Really? That's interesting.
Yeah.
Holy cow. Yeah, no, I didn't hear them eating. That would have been actually kind of cool to show the kids.
Because I crouched down to get a closer look and take a picture, and you could hear them munching on the grass.
That's pretty wild.
Making a noise anyways.
That's interesting. Yeah, no, there was a bunch of poop on all the things, on all the leaves around it. So if it isn't a bird and has...
All right, Robert, I can't comment to you, but thank you for your interaction.
That's awesome. 314 rules. We have 3 on the trail. Number 1 is to stay close. Number 2 is to listen. And number 3 is to have fun. Those are our 3 rules. So, any more than 3 and I wouldn't be able to remember them all. So that's partially why we've only got 3.
Got it.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so we've been hitting basically at least 4 times a week. We've been getting out to the local trails, and we've got one that we've been on enough times that basically the kids are like, oh, we're going to that one again. So I need to kind of change it up a little bit. But when we get to Chittenango, because we can mention that actually, when we go to the Chittenango Falls meetup, is it September? I can't remember.
What did we decide on?
No, October. We decided October 2020.
October, I was going to say. It's in October. Well, anyways.
So basically... 24th, October 24th, Chittenango. So basically, Dig the Falls the team tries to get together at least once a year. The last couple of years, we haven't made it work because of COVID, obviously. But, this year we really wanted to get together. So we're going to push for the 24th at Chittenango. We're going to meet up. Anybody that remembers that date and wants to come and say hello, I'd love to say hello back. We love seeing, our community members out there. But basically, we try to meet up, walk around a little bit, hike, and then, hang out for a while and just catch up. It's a good time. So, but I'll be bringing, most likely I'll be bringing the kids with us on that trail. So
they'll be all right.
Yeah,
they can do it.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm getting their strength up pretty good. I just need to get them different shoes. Because their shoes are wearing out already. But I actually have a good one for you. So when I'm out on the trails with the kids. Uh, mind you, well, they're very outgoing, very talkative. Like
Excuse me.
yeah, Connor, excuse me. Yeah, he's got such a cute little voice. Well, when little, he's the loudest of them all. But so when they're out on the trail, literally, they want to say hello to everyone. They want to pet everyone's dogs, and which is not a big deal, because I'm teaching them how to properly, properly say hello to the dogs and ask the owners to, before they touch the dogs themselves. So that's the fine part. The part that I'm having difficulty with right now is the fact that the kids, as soon as they see someone, they could be 200 yards down the trail. As soon as they see someone, they start yelling hello and screaming their name. Hey, I'm Charlotte. And
they're young.
Yeah.
But, geez, my kids didn't really bother people like this. Now, my grandchildren did. Oh my God, they did the same thing. But I kept telling them, lower your voices, if they want to speak to you. When we get closer to them, then you can say hello, but we're too far away right now.
Yeah. And I try to do that as much as possible. There have been a couple of times where the kids are like, oh, they're not close enough. Let's run up to them. It's like, come on, slow down. I know you're excited. And, and the other thing I don't want to do is I don't want to stifle that energy because, it's so nice for them to want to meet people and talk to them. And, but, that we've gotten to the point where in some conversations where I have to kind of stop them short because they start talking about all our animals and the fact that, half of them have gone to heaven already. So they'll start talking about our dog Jack and how,
maybe start having your conversations with them and do like, how we as adults, you meet some people on the trail and they just don't want to be bothered.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They really don't, you'll get a nod maybe, or they'll just look the other way and walk by you.
Oh yeah, barely a nod at all. Yeah, right.
So it's a conversation piece to have with the children, like, well, they might be, you're going to have to pick your words.
Yeah.
To get them to understand that it's like going in a grocery store. You don't just run up and talk to everyone because you're there for a specific reason. Some people don't like to be bothered and some people are okay.
Yep, absolutely. That makes total sense. I'm trying to teach Charlotte's a little easier to communicate than the boys because the boys, they're 4, they're hyper, so it's hard to keep their attention. But trying to teach her proper trail etiquette, and you want to wait for people to get closer so you don't have to scream down the trail. You want to make sure that you're not affecting others' ability to enjoy the time on the trail too.
Well, use animals for an example. Got to keep your voice low so we don't scare all the animals.
Yeah, and that's something I still can't get them to do. Like when we're on the trail, like their voices are like way up here, like, and they're super excited running around. And, a couple times I've been able to calm them down enough to, realize and listen to the sounds around us and, the cicadas and the crickets and, and birds even. But to this date, I don't think we've seen anything bigger than a chipmunk on the trails.
Oh, geez, you got to get farther out of the city. Come this way, go north.
I know.
Then you got to tell them, be careful, there might be a bear waiting for you.
Well, it's funny you say that. They're actually right across the river from me. There was they had a bear. So, they're around here, but my luck, I'll never see them. I've been going to the Adirondacks my entire life and only finally saw my first bear a couple years ago. So
very good.
Yeah, but yeah, related to music and how music can calm different people and listen to. Yeah, I mean that's Robert. That's spot on. Because we listen to a lot of music, so that would actually make a lot of sense to them. And I think the hardest part is going to be explaining without telling them that basically people suck. We're going to have to kind of explain to them, like you said, some people just don't want to talk. Luckily, we haven't come across anybody like that. But I also think that, you know, the kids' attitudes and their energy kind of pulls people out of their shell a little bit. So
Right.
yeah, so I think we've been pretty lucky in that sense. So, but yeah, so that's kind of what I've been dealing with the past several weeks, is getting them on the trail.
Oh, it just reminds me of all of these children. You're just getting going.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. So,
Robert and Chuck used to scare me quite a lot on some of the trails because they just got bolder and bolder, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Did you ever have any like close calls with them on the trails?
No, but I did with my grandchildren.
Okay. Okay. See, now was it like you almost lost them, or did they actually almost get hurt?
Well, if I hadn't grabbed Candace by the front of her shirt, she would have fell over the side of one spot, because she was walking backwards trying to talk to me, and I kept trying to tell her to please stop walking, but she wasn't listening, and I had to grab her.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Wow. Actually, that kind of happened to me the one time I had Charlotte with me, and have you been?
I know, Robert. I was trying to think that too, because you guys did a lot. So define close. Well, we had ourselves in some pickles.
Yeah. Okay.
Where we had to utilize each other to get out of scenarios.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
You know, like pushing us, you know, each other's rope ladder or something, but we did get in some pickles. But as for injury or something like that, I can't honestly remember a scenario like that with the grandchildren.
Climbed around and got in some sketchy spots. Yeah, sketchy. That's the perfect word for many scenarios. Sketchy. Yeah, I mean, I don't. Have you been to Burden Pond? I can't remember if you've been there yet.
Yes, the whole thing.
So, have you? Okay, so you know that at Burden Pond, that pipe that goes below the road.
Yes.
Well, it's quite high. Like if you stood, you can stand right on that edge and easily just jump off. There's no guardrail or anything there. And I was there with Charlotte last year. I believe it was last year or the year before. I can't remember. She was still really young and not really thinking, and she ran right up on top of that, right to the edge. And it scared the heck out of me. Yeah. Like I thought for sure she was going to keep going, and you know, luckily enough, she didn't. But yeah, that's a good 20 feet down to the water, I think. And then it you know, the water would probably carry her under the roadway out to the other side, and there's the waterfalls over on the other side. So
correct.
Yeah, that'd be pretty nuts. So
Robert, that brings up a valid point that we actually talked about and made some comments on. People being well aware of what kind of footwear they should actually wear when they're hiking.
Yes.
Because we were in the youth group, and the girl that he's mentioning ended up twisting her ankle because she didn't have proper footwear on.
Oh, really?
So different ones helped keep carrying her along.
Double look at edges. You don't know it's on. Yeah. And actually, it's funny. Robert says the cliffs. I was at Burden Pond the one time this year actually, and we were just starting our cleanups, and I was on the edge. I was on that edge of that pipe that goes underneath the road, but I was over to the side, so the bank was below me, and I couldn't see because all the grapevines had grown up too high. And I actually stepped right off the edge of that thing and went down about 15 feet and landed on my back.
Now, what we have, I know what he's talking about. The other thing that people don't realize, when you're hiking like cliff areas, and you want to go kind of close to the edge, but yet you can't see what's washed away underneath.
Yes.
And you've got to stay away from that edge, because many a time it's like you take pictures and then when you look and view the pictures, you realize, oh my God, there was nothing under there.
Right.
Got to be careful.
Yep. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like that kind of like what is it? Shoot, the one waterfall at the, near Whiteface. It's got the campground right next to it. I'm spacing on the actual name.
Wilmington.
Wilmington, yeah, Wilmington. Yeah,
Wilmington Notch.
Yeah, so that waterfall makes me think of exactly what you mentioned, because like it's got that big rock face that you kind of walk out on. But,
yes.
You know, at some point, like if you walk out too far, you're getting yourself into a whole heap of trouble.
Correct.
Yeah, so that was one of the few spots that I've actually felt very nervous actually walking out and actually trying to get a view of the waterfall.
Yes, you got to be extremely careful.
Yep.
Especially in wintertime too, because the snow will pile up and actually hang over an extra couple feet beyond the edge.
Yeah, that's a good drop. That's a very good drop down. So interesting. So I'm not gonna hold us on too long tonight. Just wanted to kind of get on and give everyone an update on the website itself. I don't know. So I talked about the website. I talked about steps. Is there anything else that we should probably update anybody on moving forward?
Well, just so that folks are just aware that we are doing some changes, and be patient with us while we work out the glitches on the actual website. And thank Robert for all his contribution.
Good ones, definitely, yeah.
That's for the most part. We just need the community to give us a little bit of patience through the whole process, because anyone that has a website out there, they really know what goes on for themselves, and just how much people don't realize that you actually have to do.
Yeah, exactly. So what I did mention the store that we haven't published yet, but we're going to be publishing a new store. It's not going to be part of the website anymore. That is going to be much faster, much easier to use, and we're looking for people to help design some some word art, some just cool shirts that we can post up, and anybody that contributes, we can get some free swag, and just really love to get the community involved in that aspect of things too. So. And a portion of all those sales are going to be going directly toward getting tools and helping with the cleanups and the trail building efforts that we've got going on. The more we can bring in, the bigger the projects we can take on, and the more projects we can actually take on too. So
yeah, I didn't bring all the tools with me. I still got more to bring.
You still have more. Those are awesome. I need to get a handle for that axe, but all those tools are going to come in very, very handy. I appreciate that. So thank you. So usually at the end of each one of these live broadcasts, I ask whoever's on with me if they have any kind of shout outs that they'd like to put out there. Whether it's a person, place, thing, organization, whatever. Is there anything that comes to your mind that you'd like to kind of give a few words?
Well, all I know is the last few days I've been reading a lot up on the Finger Lakes Trail and all the trail work they've been doing and the land they've been acquiring. I just think they do awesome work also.
Sweet. Nice.
They do.
So Finger Lakes Trail Alliance, is that who it is?
Yes.
Okay.
But they're everywhere, and they acquired and opened some new trails, added more miles, in a couple of areas that they just announced I need to go check out.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I mean, their trail systems. It's been, geez, probably a decade since I've been on any of those trails. But you know, all the ones that I was on were just really incredible. I really just loved the feeling. I mean, some of them you get out there and you're out there like away from everything. It's great.
But I like them because they're maintained too.
Yep, yep,
For the
yeah, very
most
well
part, they
maintained. Yeah,
are.
yep. So yeah, so anybody that really likes to just kind of get out there on well maintained trails, I definitely check out any of the trails. So they're, from what I remember too, they're pretty well marked.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
With the coist and that
Yep.
map thing at the beginning.
Yep. Yep.
So
So I would have to say I'm going to give a shout out to the Dig the Falls team, because I know I try to give you guys shout outs as much as I can, but at the same time it's not as public probably as it should be. But the entire team just comes together and does awesome things, and they set aside time when I ask, and they're just, you guys are just awesome. So I really, really appreciate the entire team. I you know I need to do that more often publicly. Let everyone know how awesome you
well,
guys
I
are.
do have to confess,
Oh.
I
Yes.
really actually forgot about tonight.
Oh.
I just sat down and logged into Facebook and I
Yeah.
saw your thing pop up first that you just started it. I'm like, oh my God. I forgot.
That's totally okay. It's funny because there's actually times where Jess will say, "Hey, are you doing your thing tonight?" I'm like, "Oh my God, it's Tuesday."
There you go. Okay.
Yeah. So you're not the only one. I'm hosting it. I still forget about it. So, but yeah. So that's my shout out. Otherwise, we can, if you don't have anything else to mention, we'll end the broadcast here and jump back on next Tuesday.
Yes, sir.
All right. And right now.